Hey guys, Mrs. Bukaki here. We are going to solve quadratic equations by factoring. So we've worked on factoring the last week or two. Now we're going to take it a step further and solve by doing what you already know how to do. Basically, what does it mean to solve a quadratic? Well, we're solving for x. What does x equal? What does x equal? And you know the shape of a quadratic is something like this, for instance. So for now, our solutions there'll be two solutions where it crosses the x-axis on both sides, okay? So your x-intercepts are your solutions, okay? So let's take a look here. Here's my quadratic. X squared plus 7x equals 18. So the first thing I have to do is to get this in standard form. Okay, here's the equation for standard form. Ax squared plus by plus c equals 0. So all we have to do here is move this 18 to the other side, and then we can begin. X squared plus 7x minus 18 equals 0. And now we can factor. So I'll set up my parentheses. And what we have to ask ourselves is, how do we get, what two things are multiplied together to get x squared? Well, the only solution would be x times x. And I have a plus and a minus, so, well, let's look at the factors of 18 first. What things multiply together to get negative 18, but add up together to get positive 7? So we have to have at least one negative in here to get our negative 18. Okay, so let's do a plus and a minus. And our factors of 18, let's see. We have 9 and 2, 3 and 6, 1 and 18. Now out of those three, which do you think are going to add together to get 7? Well, I have a 9 and a 2, right? Those will add up to get 7 if we subtract the 2. Well, I also have an 8 and a 1. Oh, I'm sorry, this is 18. I forgot the 1. There we go. Oops. Okay, so our only reasonable solution, our only factors that we're going to use would be 9 and 2. I need a positive 7, so my 9 would go here, and my 2 would go here. So let's check our answer. Let's FOIL this to make sure we're on track. So first would be x times x. Outer would be x times a negative 2 minus 2x. Inner terms would be plus 9x. And then minus 18. Combine some like terms. X squared plus 7x minus 18 equals 0. So we're good. So that's a check. But we're not finished yet. We still need to solve for x. So I'm just going to erase this. This was just to check to make sure I factored correctly. Okay, so after you factor, the only thing we need to do next is solve for x, which means to take each factored expression and set it equal to 0. So x plus 9 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0, and then solve for x. Subtract 9 from both sides, we get x equals negative 9. Add 2 to both sides, we get x equals 2. This would be our solution. Plug it in to make sure it works. So let's plug it into our factored expressions here. If I have a 9, here, let's see, this all equals 0. If I plug in a negative 9, these 9s would cancel, leaving this term multiplied by 0, which does equal 0. If I plug in this 2, this expression would cancel, making this x plus 9 times 0, which is also 0. So we're good. You can also plug it into this equation as well. Okay, so those are our solutions. And again, why do we have two solutions? Well, our quadratic is a parabola, and it crosses the x-axis in two places. So in this case, it would cross the x-axis at negative 9 and then a positive 2. Okay, let's do one more example. Okay, so I have 2x squared plus 4x equals 6. Again, we want to get it into standard form, which is ax squared plus by plus c equals 0. So everything on the left instead of equal to 0. So I have 2x squared plus 4x minus 6 equals 0. Okay, and let's set up our parentheses and begin factoring. So I have a 2x squared here. What two things multiplied to get 2x squared? Well, we have to have a 2x and then an x. 2x times x equals 2x squared. And now we will take a look at the factors of negative 6. So we have, let's see, factors of 6 or negative 6. We can have a negative 3 times 2. We can have a negative 2 times 3. We can have a negative 6 times 1 or a negative 1 times 6. So those are our potential factors, but they also have to add up to get 4, and we have to take into consideration this 2 out in front. Okay? So we're going to have a plus minus. Whenever you see a plus minus, your parentheses will also be plus minus. So I do a guess and check. I think Mr. Random might have another method, but let's try it out. So let's go with the first one, negative 3 and 2. Let's see if that works. Okay, when I FOIL my first term, I get 2x times negative 3, which is negative 6x, plus 2x, which is a negative 4x, so we're close. What's the only thing I have to do? Well, I just have to switch my plus and minus. So this becomes a plus, and this becomes a minus, and we have our two factors. Now, I kind of got lucky. I guess I did the guess and check method, but it worked for this. I have 2x squared plus 6x minus 2x, which is our 4x, and then a minus 6. So we're good there. The last step, set each expression equal to 0 and solve for x. So I have a 2x minus 2 equals 0, and then I have an x plus 3 equals 0. Add 2 to the other side. 2x equals 2. Divide by 2, x equals 1. Put the 3 on the other side. X equals negative 3. Here are my two solutions. Okay, so that's how you solve quadratics by factoring. See you later.